Welcome back, AP Psychers. Today we're going to overview two terms that appeared in Essential Task 9.2. Not that I think those terms are overwhelmingly confusing, but I think it might be beneficial to see a little bit more context. The 9.2 Essential Task, as you can see here, starts with early development and then goes into infancy. The first term that I'm referring to is under the maturation column. The word maturation is a term that we use for the natural biological process. It's really a fancy word for the aging process, particularly at very young ages, where new behaviors are obtained relatively uninfluenced by experience, meaning children will, generally speaking, learn to walk and run, pick things up and kick, all at approximately the same time. And you actually can really see this when you look at something like a Toys R Us catalog. I know Toys R Us is a defunct company right now. If you look at their catalog, it actually very much relates to the concept of maturation, and specifically what we call fine and gross motor skills. So these are two words that come from right below maturation. Gross motor skills are the motor skills that require large muscle movements, meaning things like running and walking and sitting up. If you were to look below on the concept map that you hopefully did, you will see the timeline where approximately before the age of 1, you should anticipate that the child is just about standing, if not borderline walking. Around the age of 2, you can expect the child to exhibit the gross motor skill of running. Fine motor skills are ones that require small muscle movements. So we're talking about buttoning your shirt, tying your shoes, writing your name with a pencil, things like that. Fine motor skills have their own timeline. And if you look at toys in the catalog here, you'll see quite a lot of this. Let's look at this toy here, the Learn With Me Zebra Walker. Notice how it says age 9 months up right here, this area here. Approximately at the age of 9, in terms of gross motor skills, children should be just about able to walk, usually on their own. 9 months could be a little bit early, but that's exactly why this doesn't say 7 months or 6 months or 18 months. It really is built and designed with the gross motor skill maturation timeline in mind. And you can see other toys that do this as well. Let's take a look here at the Fisher-Price Little People Sit and Stand Skyway. Notice to play with this toy, you generally have to be standing. The age group recommended is 1.5 up. So we're looking at about 18 months and older. 18 months, again, we're right in this line of the timeline. The gross motor skill capabilities at that point generally should be able to walk without any help, certainly at 18 months. Borderline at the point of running. So that toy, again, is also designed really well, right on target. Go down to page 26. There's a final one to reference. Take a look here at the Little Tikes My First Flyer, this little remote control airplane or helicopter, rather. Notice how it says ages 4 and up. In order to control this remote, you would actually need to have fine motor skills. The ability to hold, whether it's a video game controller or even text on your phone, is fine motor skill movement. Age of 4, let's see what a child should be able to do. Should be drawing or writing your name. So that's what the name would look like if a child at this age wrote their name. So we're looking at some really basic fine motor skill development, but you can use scissors. We're not quite to the point of being able to button your shirt. So this is right in line with what you would be able to anticipate. There's a reason this doesn't say 3 and up, and it's not just entirely because the child at the age of 3 might not, on a cognitive level, understand what they're doing. It is in many ways also a byproduct of motor skills. And that is what we call the maturation process, and this timeline indicating these ages and months where certain skills more or less should be developed relatively uninterrupted or uninfluenced by personal experience is precisely what the maturation process looks like, and you can see it played out in numerous aspects of life. The final term in Essential Task 9.2 that I think is worth talking about is a term called habituation. It's not impossible that the term habituation is provided on the AP exam in the context of adults, of young children, even infants, or even pets. The term habituation means a decreased interest or attention given after repeated stimulation of a given toy. For example, if a young child is given, I'm talking about an infant here, a brand new rattle or a brand new stuffed animal, they for a few days might be totally infatuated with that. They might spend a lot of time looking at it, a lot of time playing with it, but over time their interest in that object or that toy might wane. That also happens to adults in other settings. This clock right behind me actually ticks every second, and if I stop and think about it, I can hear it. But in my day-to-day life, I virtually never pick up on it. I really have to stop and think about it. The room has to be silent. Because I've lived with this clock for years now, I have habituated to the presence of the clock in my environment. I have a decreased interest or a decreased attention given to that stimulation. It can be hearing, like this clock. It can be visual, like a new toy. It could just be playing with something. I'm going to try a little experiment or a little study here live. We're going to use my cat. My cat has quite a few of these sort of pouncing toys. He's got this one here, this one that he has had for a very long time, and then a seasonal Christmas one. This seasonal Christmas one only really comes out around Christmas, meaning it's been in storage now for about 2.5, 3 months. This one, on the other hand, is out 24/7 all year. He's almost at a point of having broken it at this point. So this toy has been out every day. It's been either on the ground or a toy that he's played with very frequently. What I'm going to do is get my cat to jump up here. Probably have to coax him with some treats. Then I'm going to present both toys to him. A toy that he never ever sees, or at least sees very infrequently, and has not seen for at least 3 months or 2 months. And a toy that he sees all the time. I'm going to place them in front of him and see which toy he chooses to play with first, if he's even willing to play with one right now. In theory, he should be playing with this toy, because this is a toy he doesn't see a lot. This toy is, in theory, going to be more interesting to him. This one he's probably habituated to. He'll still play with it if it's the only thing around, but because he sees it every day, it's a boring toy. This is an exciting, brand new toy. We'll see what happens. All right, Deborah, which one are you going to play with? As you can see from our very quick 10 seconds there, he immediately jumped at the new toy. I'll be honest, he stopped having any interest in playing with either toy pretty soon after that. Ran off looking for more treats because I had to give him a couple to even jump up here on the table with me. But he did, in fact, jump at the brand new toy, the toy that he doesn't see as much, first. It is not uncommon for animals to react in this manner. When they've seen a toy a lot, they tend to habituate to it. You throw a new toy into their room, a new toy into their environment, I think it's pretty exciting, as you've just seen with my cat Darby.